Hello and welcome to Pod Popper's Place. I'm Penny, and today I want to share with you something new that I created called a tag-velope. What is a tag-velope, you said? It is something that I made so that I could fit a card with this bookmark in it into an actual envelope. I've cut down an regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock to 8 by 8. This will create an A2 size envelope using the back of this Paper Studios scoring tool that has this guide for scoring the paper for an envelope. After scoring the first line, then you line up the line that's on the guide and you score again, and they will make this crisscross corner that you use a punch to cut out. This tool is something I got at Hobby Lobby many years ago. I do not know if it's still available with this scoring envelope guide on the back. However, I will try and give you some measurements in the description box below so that you can use just a regular scoring tool and try to do the same exact thing. I believe this punch came with the scoring tool so that you could cut out the little divots in the paper for the envelope and also do rounding edges on the pointed corners. However, you could just use a regular corner punch to round off the edges and just scissors to cut out the little corner sections. I'm just making sure that my card will fold over the envelope properly and will really close. And as I'm trying to figure this out, I decided to turn it so that I have it the long up and down way instead. And I was thinking I was going to cut off the one flap envelope of the envelope, but I decided I wanted to use that for stability. So I'm inserting just half of an 8.5 by 11 piece of heavy cardstock that was cut the long way, so cut at 4.5 rather than 4.25 rather than 5.5. And I'm just gluing that inside of the envelope to give me some stability to hang this as a tag. Now I'm going to do some scoring about a 1/4 inch on each edge of the envelope flap. And I kind of messed it up a little bit because it was hard to kind of get it straight in there. But it's about a 1/4 inch, and that's just going to create this like little boxy kind of pocket for my card, because I do have, it is going to be kind of thick because of the foam tape I'm going to be using so that I can slide my bookmark inside of the front of the card. So I do that about a 1/4 inch on all 3 of those sides. I don't need to worry about the top portion because that's going to be my tag part of the envelope. I hope you will give me a lot of grace here for my directions, because this was literally a, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this in an envelope? Let me see if I can make this. And I thought it turned out so cool that I decided I had to share it with you all. I do use some double-sided adhesive tape here to put my envelope flaps together. I do end up having to go back and use some liquid glue as well because it started to come apart. So I would recommend probably using both just so that it stays nice and closed and you won't have to worry about it popping open. This idea came about from a video hop I did with KCC17, Kendra's Card Challenges, and the sponsor Biddy Penny. So if you would like to check that out, I will have some links in the description box below. Biddy Penny gave us these papers and a stamp set to work with, and I really love her paper. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I hope that you will check that out after you get the end of this video and see all the fabulous papers that I was able to use from her. And if you have not heard of Kendra's Card Challenges, I hope that you will go check out the links in the description box. Kendra's Challenge is a quarterly challenge where you can create 15 unique cards with sketches that Kendra provides, and there are some fabulous prizes that can be won as well. I used card sketch number 6 from the challenge to create the card that I am putting into this tag-velope. Once I have this taped shut, I just wanted to make sure that I could get my card and my bookmark in there and that it would completely fit without any issues. And once I had my bookmark laminated, the it did get a little tighter to go through the front portion of the card that I lifted up with foam tape, but once I was able to slide that in there, it went perfectly into my Tag-velope, and I was really happy with the fit. I'm going to need to trim off some of the corners of this white cardstock so that it kind of lines up with the rest of the hanging tag portion that I want to make. So I pulled out these reverse banners from Spellbinders that I've had for quite a long time and have almost hardly ever used, and was probably about ready to get rid of when I came across this project and was like, these are perfect. And so I'm going to try and just draw where I need to cut off, but I got the wrong size and realized that it wasn't going to give me that point. So I needed to draw on the inside of the actual shape so that I would get a nice V, and the point would actually be part of what I have left after I make the cuts. This is definitely a step that I would change when I do this project again. I would cut the V shape before I glue the cardstock inside of the envelope. So I just cut off those end pieces with my trimmer, and now I have a uniform V shape to work on. And now I want to cover that front blue part. The blue wasn't really intending to show that much. I just knew my daughter liked blue, and this is who I'm making it for, and so I started with that. But it's showing the white. It's not pretty, right? So we need to make it pretty. So I'm testing out some different papers from Biddy Penny, trying to figure out what I want to use. Also, these papers are 6x8 size, so they're quite large, and they almost completely cover my Tag-velope, which is really cool. But I wanted to use this I decided to use this kind of library scene. My daughter is a book lover. That's why I got this whole book theme going on. And so I'm going to cut this piece in half. And so it won't completely cover the Tag-velope, but I'm going to show you how I fix that as well. I got out this blue cardstock that I thought matched the Biddy Penny paper really well, and I'm going to use one of my reverse banners again, but I'm just going to do a partial cut at the very top there so that it has the same shape as the top of my Tag-velope and will cover up my white and blue areas that I don't want to be seen. And so that's going to go down the whole front side. And I do have to trim it off on the sides because, of course, I only did a partial cut. And so I'm marking that, and I actually had to trim it a little bit more than I had wanted. So there is a little bit of the blue showing, and there's like a little divot where I had to cut because the reverse banner and where I cut didn't quite line up, and I didn't want to cut more of it off because I'm trying to cover that front, right, with the blue so that it looks more uniform and neat and tidy. And so I do have a little divot, and I'm going to have to cover that as well. So all of these hidings, all these things I'm trying to hide led to what actually I think is a really fabulous Tag-velope. I've used some tools that not everybody has, and so I will be trying to make this Tag-velope again using just paper trimmers and some measurements that will be listed for you. This Tag-velope turned into a reminiscing of old tools that haven't been used in a while, and here is another one. I'm bringing out my eyelet tool and my large eyelets, and I'm going to just be putting one at the top of my tag so that I have a nice place to put some ribbon and things so that I can hang this on a gift or wherever I want to hang it. I'd love to know if you still have eyelets, or have you ever used eyelets? Is it something that you forgot you have, or something that you've never used? So the eyelet didn't squish down like it should with the tool. I'm not sure if it's my tool or just the eyelet itself was a problem, but I had to get out my really old eyelet hammer and punch thing and get that to lay nice and flat. And now I am figuring out how I'm going to cover those divots I mentioned earlier on the side where it's just not laying very pretty and straight. And so I've got this ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap it around, and I'm going to tuck it into the back. And this is where my envelope kind of came apart a little bit and I had to use some extra glue. But on the ribbon, I'm going to just burnish down some really strong double-sided adhesive tape, and I think I add glue as well. And I'm just going to just basically burnish it as well as I can and get it kind of tucked in there and stuck on the inside. So it's not very fancy or great instructions, I guess, but I was just trying to make it work, and it actually comes out looking really nice, I think, on the front, and the back looks okay as well. And that's what was my most concern, is that I wanted to make sure that the back didn't look like a hot mess, and so I wanted to be able to tuck this in so that it wasn't just looking like, you know, I didn't give any thought to the back side of it. So I did end up having to trim it a little bit. I just wanted enough that I could get it tucked in there and stuck down, and then cut some of that excess off on the other end so that just wasn't a huge wad of ribbon stuck inside, because it does impact my ability to get the card inside and out of the Tag-velope super easily. I do have to be a little more careful when I slide that in. I do apologize for the length of this video. I hope you watch to the end if you would like to figure out how to put one of these together for yourself. But I could not speed it up any faster in the app I'm using, and I didn't want to cut out too many of the details, because this was something I just never made before. So I'm assuming that it's not something you've made before, and you would like to see all the steps so that you can recreate this yourself. I could have added more double-sided adhesive tape under the ribbon, but I didn't think it was necessary, and actually I'm glad I didn't, because I decided to tuck this beautiful paper up underneath a little bit so that it just looks more finished. I thought laying it over the top looked kind of weird, and I didn't want to trim off any of the paper because I just thought it was so beautiful. And so I just kind of tuck it up in there so you can still kind of see it, but it doesn't look odd. Once I had this glued down, I just wanted to make sure that I could still get my card into the Tag-velope without too much trouble. And as you can see, I did have to just be very careful and kind of lift up the edges so that nothing would get caught, but it does slide in. Even though this is a Tag-velope, I do still need a tag at the top so that I can write a to and from. So I'm taking some of my scrap pieces from previous cuts, and I am using those to create some tags, and I'm going to add a mini eyelet to both of these so that they can be connected together. I used one eyelet to attach these two small tags together, and the back one is just for decoration. The front one is where I would write the to and from sentiments on. And then I'm using some kind of stronger, it's kind of papery ribbon, and I'm just cutting it long enough so that I can tie it in a little knot. And this is going to be attached to the Tag-velope. So this is where I would use the, if I wanted to hang it like on a doorknob or something, I would probably use this one. It is nice and sturdy, but there is, because there's this, it's kind of like paper twisted together, there is a way to untwist it. So I just use my fingers to kind of untwist the paper-ish stuff and kind of fan it out to make it look a little prettier. I know, I hope I'm not confusing you with all of these wonderful technical terms that I'm adding to my voiceover, but I'm going to add this other ribbon. This is going to go through the main large eyelet, and I do have to use like, I don't know, a crafty needle to kind of help shove that through. And then I also wanted to add this old Stampin' Up! Ribbon, and you can stamp on it, which I thought was kind of cool. So I got out a couple of the stamps from the set, and I'm just stamping those along the ribbon with some stays on, and just it really gives it a nice finished look, and it's so fun to be able to stamp on this ribbon. And once my ribbon's gone, I don't know what I'll do because it's really cool and it's so old. I don't even know where I could find this anymore because I know Stampin' Up! Doesn't have it. So, but I was really cool. I thought it was a really nice addition to the ribbon pile that I'm making on the top of this Tag-velope. Once again, I have to use this craft needle to kind of push the ribbon through, and it is kind of semi-dangerous because you could poke your finger pretty easily going through there. But so if you do something similar, make sure you protect your fingers. And then I'm tying this together with the three different the two different ribbons I have there, but I thought it would be fun to add one more piece of the striped ribbon that I used earlier, and just as like a flourish to add to the top of it. So before I tie everything together, I just cut off a small piece and angle the ends, and then add that to the top of my ribbon pile here and just tie that on there. And I really love how all of it came together. I just love the extra ribbon and flourishes at the top, and my mom was always such a good present wrapper and decorator and stuff, so I feel like this is a homage to all the things that she taught me over the years. One thing I did try to make sure of when I'm tying this was to make sure that the ribbon with the little stamps images on there are facing outward so that they can be read and seen. The last touch I add to this is a little, just a store-bought paper flower. Has a little button in the center, and I'm using some really heavy-duty Eileen's tacky glue, and I put it on there, and I just let it sit for a really long time, make sure it's nice and dry before I mess with it again. But I just thought it needed something, a little something there on the ribbon. And so now I have my gift and my card and something to put it in, and I can attach this to a larger gift or just hang it on a doorknob as a little surprise. So thanks for watching. I hope you will come again soon, and it would really make me happy if you decided to subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.